The boundless savanna extended infinitely under the radiant sun, a domain where existence and demise performed a subtle dance. However, on this particular day, the atmosphere was laden with something different: suffering. A profound, tormented roar resounded across the arid grass, sending tremors through the man who heard it. He pursued the sound, his heart racing, until he beheld it, an enormous lion, its lustrous mane ensnared in vicious barbed wire, its formidable frame diminished by relentless struggle. The creature was trapped, its golden eyes wavering between dread and wrath. One misstep, and the man could become its next target. Yet, what he did next altered everything. The man was neither a hunter nor an adventure seeker. He was a ranger, a steward of the wilderness, someone who had spent years traversing the untamed lands. He grasped the principles of nature: honor it, and it will honor you. Yet, even he had never faced such peril so closely before. His name was Daniel, a man who had devoted his life to observing wildlife, studying their behaviors, and ensuring that humans and animals could live in harmony. He had encountered lions before, observed them from afar, and admired their strength, but now, standing just feet from one in agony, he realized something profound: this was not merely a beast, it was a monarch humbled. Daniel understood the danger. An injured lion was erratic, its pain doubling its lethality. He could turn away, abandon it to fate, but deep within, he knew he couldn't. He had to assist. The lion lay entangled in the merciless grip of the barbed wire, its once robust body reduced to quivering fatigue. Each movement sent new surges of pain through its frame, the sharp metal cutting deeper into its flesh. Blood tarnished its radiant fur, and its breaths came in jagged, uneven pants. It had struggled for hours, perhaps longer, but the more it fought, the tighter the wire constricted. Daniel took a cautious step nearer. The lion's ears flicked, and with its fading strength, it emitted a low, cautionary growl. Even in its most vulnerable moment, it refused to yield. Yet, Daniel saw something beneath the fear, beyond the agony, something almost human. The lion wasn't merely battling for survival, it was pleading. His hands clenched into fists, he had to act swiftly. If he delayed, the lion would either perish from its wounds or muster its final strength to attack. His heart pounded, but he compelled himself to move slowly, deliberately. He reached for the wire cutters fastened to his belt. The lion's golden eyes fixed on him, unsure if he was a rescuer or a foe, and for a fleeting moment, Daniel wasn't certain either. Daniel drew a steady breath, calming his hands. Every instinct urged caution: a trapped animal was unpredictable, a trapped lion was something else entirely. He knelt beside the colossal creature, speaking softly, his voice barely a murmur above the breeze. "Easy now, I'm not here to harm you." The lion's ears twitched, its amber eyes flickering between exhaustion and wariness. It let out a faint growl, but its fight was gone. Daniel extended his hand, his fingers grazing the first strand of barbed wire. The metal was twisted tightly, biting deeply into the lion's shoulder. He worked swiftly, severing the first wire with a sharp snap. The lion flinched but did not strike. One by one, he cut away the cruel bindings, sweat trickling down his back despite the cool air. The final wire was coiled tightly around its hind leg. One last cut, and the lion would be free. Daniel paused. This was the moment of truth. He pressed the cutters against the metal and squeezed. The wire broke. The lion released a deep, trembling breath. Daniel scrambled backward, bracing for the worst. The beast was free, it could flee or attack. Yet, instead, the lion remained still. It slowly raised its head, its eyes locked on the man who had saved it. For a long, breathless moment, neither moved. Then, in a moment that defied all reason, the lion did something that left Daniel stunned in disbelief. He braced himself, his pulse thundering in his ears. He had freed the lion, but now he was exposed. If the animal chose to attack, nothing could stop it. He had seen lions move before, swift, precise, lethal. But this one simply stood there. The lion rose unsteadily to its feet, its muscles trembling from exhaustion. It extended its injured leg, testing its newfound freedom, then turned its massive head toward Daniel. Their eyes met, and the savannah fell silent. Then, something extraordinary occurred. The lion took a slow step forward, not in hostility, not in rage, but with something gentler, something Daniel could scarcely fathom. It closed the distance between them, its golden eyes fixed on his. Daniel held his breath, unable to move. The lion lowered its head and gently pressed its forehead against Daniel's hand. A surge of warmth coursed through him. This wasn't an attack, nor was it fear, it was something else, recognition, understanding. Daniel exhaled shakily, his fingers barely brushing the lion's coarse fur. The beast emitted a low, rumbling sound, almost like a purr, before slowly stepping back. It cast one final, lingering glance at the man who had saved it, then turned and vanished into the wild. Daniel stood frozen, trying to comprehend what had just happened. He thought it was over, but days later, he would discover this story was far from complete. Something even more remarkable was yet to come. Days passed, and Daniel couldn't erase the memory of the lion's touch. He told no one, who would believe a wild lion showing gratitude? It seemed like a tale from a myth. He convinced himself it was finished, but nature had other plans. One evening, as he patrolled the edges of his territory, something felt different. The air was heavy, the kind of stillness that precedes a storm. Then, from the tall grass, movement. Daniel tensed, his hand hovering over his knife, his instincts sharp. Then he saw them. Emerging from the shadows was not only the lion he had saved but an entire pride, 4 or 5 others, their golden eyes gleaming in the fading light. His heart raced. This was no ordinary encounter. The rescued lion stood at the forefront, watching him. It let out a low, deep rumble, not a warning, not a threat, but a greeting. The pride did not charge or encircle him as prey. They simply observed, their presence unmistakable, their message clear. Daniel took a slow step back, his breath unsteady. The lion had not forgotten. Somehow, in a way science couldn't explain, it had returned, not alone, but with its family. Respect had been given, and in return, it had been received. Some claim lions act only on instinct, incapable of understanding kindness, but Daniel knew otherwise. He had seen it, felt it, the unspoken bond between man and beast. The lion had not merely remembered him, it had honored him. Respect runs deeper than fear, and even the wildest creatures recognize those who intend no harm. Daniel had freed a lion, expecting nothing in return, but what he received was far greater, trust. Perhaps the true kings of the wild are not those who rule with strength alone, but those who govern with understanding. In that moment, Daniel understood too.